welcome back to 9 Days. I'm Abby.
And I'm Bree.
She's a 7.
And she's a 3.
And today we're giving our 2 cents on food allergies.
Yes, so please make sure that you guys go ahead and follow us on Instagram at dime_days and that you like and subscribe this video so that way you can hear more of our 2 cents.
Yes, so let's jump into it.
Let's do it.
Question number 1. What is the difference between an allergy and an intolerance? So from my understanding, the difference is an allergy is when your body has a reaction. Besides like your stomach, like your body has a reaction, like hives or swelling or
like a rash.
Rash, yeah. So that's my understanding of allergy. And an intolerance is in your gut. So it's inside in your gut.
Right.
So the bacteria or whatever that's in the food doesn't mesh well,
Yeah.
Your gut is intolerant to it. It can't process it.
Correctly.
Yeah. So that's the difference in my understanding.
Look, right.
Would you add anything?
Yeah, I would just say the only thing, like allergies are a little bit more on the severe side. Like
Yeah,
it could be more like life or death type of a situation, where like an intolerance may be more like focused around like the processing in your gut.
Yeah.
And your gut can actually have different allergies to things, but that's a whole different,
Yeah.
it's a whole different thing.
That's a much deeper dive.
Yeah.
All right, what are or is your food allergy or intolerance?
So I am gluten and dairy free. So I have like, I've been saying allergies. I think I've been misusing the term maybe.
Yeah, I would say you have more intolerance.
Yeah, like a gluten and dairy intolerance. So like my stomach, if I have any loose dairy, like in like coffee or like ice cream, I would be so sick. My stomach.
And any
hurt.
baking.
Yeah. Well, it's weird. Like if someone makes a gluten-free cookie, but they use milk, it doesn't hurt my stomach. But if it's exactly. But if it's like mashed potatoes with like
all the
with
milk
all
and butter.
the milk and butter, I will literally. I physically cannot walk if I have loose dairy. Like it hurts my stomach that badly. It's dramatic. I know it sounds stupid, but it is true. Yeah. So there's that, and then Oh, dairy. I was gonna go to dairy.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I am lactose intolerant. I've always, I mean, as far back as I can remember. And then gluten has started recently. I think probably in like college or so, and it just makes me really bloated. Like my stomach gets really hard and it's uncomfortable. So I think that's where a lot of people have issues with like people that say that they have a gluten allergy. Because it's not really an allergy.
Right.
It's more of an intolerance. And I think a large percentage of Americans have a dairy and gluten intolerance because of the homogeneously modified milk that Americans use and because of the processed wheat that Americans use.
Right.
And so I think it's more common now than it was before.
Yeah.
I think some people just don't realize they have the intolerance.
Right.
Like it's just so uncomfortable. Like dairy, it's a disaster. And then gluten just makes me feel just so uncomfortable and like I can't sit straight and like it just doesn't feel good. So I'm not gonna eat it because it doesn't make, well I still eat it sometimes. But it doesn't make me feel good. So that's that. Question number 3, how do you know that you have these allergies or intolerances?
So I was a sophomore in high school when I kind of figured out that I was allergic to dairy. I started gaining weight a lot, like a lot of bloating, a lot of like weight gain, or I was working out constantly but not losing any weight. Yeah. So we had seen a thyroid doctor, had done testing, and it wasn't my thyroid. But after doing some like testing with me and like I had to keep a food journal for like 7 days. And after kind of analyzing it, she's like, I think you're allergic to dairy. So that's when that one started. So dairy's been out of my life for a very long time, and it hasn't made me upset because I feel like in high school I pretty much grew up knowing I wasn't able to have it. And as time has come from high school to now, like there's been so many more dairy-free alternatives. Yeah. Where like in high school, it was a little bit more depressing because there wasn't a lot of dairy-free ice creams and things like that.
There was, and it was disgusting.
Yeah. Exactly. It would taste disgusting or whatever. Yeah. And then I was a freshman in college when I found out I was allergic to gluten. I had like mono, and something about mono like strips your immunity a little bit, and it just kind of came out of the blue. And then a couple weeks later was getting sick after everything I ate, tons of bloating, stuff like that. And then they were like, hey, like keep a food journal, see how it goes. And they were like, yep, we think it's an allergy to gluten. So that's our intolerance to gluten, whatever. And so they just told me to kind of steer clear of it. And I pretty much haven't gone back Sometimes I'll risk it and I'll eat gluten.
To get a biscuit, baby.
My biscuits are a little dry, but if it's a Disneyland churro, I will make the sacrifice every time, you know, so.
That's true.
Yeah.
So this might be a little graphic for some people, but I remember we were at the Old Country Buffet, and I was a youngin', and I had eaten soft serve ice cream, and I threw up from our booth all the way to the bathroom. When we got to the bathroom, I no longer had to throw up, but like I was throwing up the entire time.
I've never heard this story.
So it was a traumatizing experience. And then like when I was little, like we would eat dairy, and I would like be so sick, and I literally would pray to God, like, if you get me through this, I will do whatever you want.
Yes.
Like, I would literally pray that it would stop, because I would be so sick and I would be in so much pain that, like, it sounds so severe. Like, people do that when like they're dying, but no, I was doing that when I was having dairy intolerance issues. So after that, my parents kind of like shifted our diet a little bit, and so they didn't like cook as much with like milk and stuff. And then again, same thing, like I just try to steer clear of it as much as possible. But again, like I do like life, and you know, if I know that I'm like at home, I'll have ice cream because I love ice cream. And like if I'm home, I don't mind being sick.
Yeah.
But like as I've gotten older, like it has affected like my weight a lot, and I feel like I can't lose as much weight because of the dairy. And I don't know what it is about that. Like that's such an interesting thing. Like dairy really, like when I don't eat dairy, I lose weight a lot faster than when I do eat dairy. And even if I like have dairy, like cheese on my salad, it will totally wreck like all the progress I've made. So I wonder if it's like the fat that's in dairy or something that like our body holds on to because we're intolerant to it.
I wonder.
Yeah, so I experienced that same thing. And then gluten, again, just makes my stomach really hurt and feel really bloated. So I just don't eat it as often. So if I can eat it, it's not as bad as dairy.
Yeah.
If I eat gluten like once a week or like once every couple weeks or once a month, then I really am not affected that bad. So
Yeah. I'm like, it's weird because I can do aged cheese, but like I won't eat like the whole thing, like a slice or two.
Like feta cheese and blue cheese doesn't affect me.
That's so weird. Blue cheese, I will be dead. Like
real blue cheese, not like fake blue cheese. Like it's like blue cheese dressing.
Like I'm thinking like blue
cheese.
cheese and like Chick-fil-A salad. Like
That's not the blue cheese.
that stuff kills me.
That's processed blue cheese.
Oh well then I don't know. Like to me that kills me.
Yeah.
So I used to be able to eat them like no problem, and then I don't know what happened. I woke up one day I couldn't eat those salads. So I'm like, please, no cheese. I will die.
Yeah. So yeah, that's how we found out. Mine was more of a traumatizing story of eating ice cream.
Mine wasn't like that dramatic of a story. Mine was just like, I'm fat. Figure out what's wrong with me.
That's funny. Yeah. No, I'm glad that I found out earlier in life rather than later though.
Yeah.
Because I think it helped. Like we had goats, and sometimes we tried goat milk for a while, and that's just not very good. So I just don't drink milk. Like I can't remember the last time I just like had a glass of milk. Which who drinks milk like that? Some people, I guess.
A lot of little kids do,
But which that's a whole other conspiracy theory of why American kids are overweight. Anyways, how does this affect your daily life?
it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know how to like explain it to people.
Like every decision you make about food has gluten and dairy options that you have to think about.
So like
It's like in every food option.
yeah, like exactly. Or like, so for example, if someone like a coworker is like, hey, like let me pick up a coffee for you or whatever, and they forget to ask for like the dairy-free milk, like specifically that part, like I will be sick like the rest of the day, or at least the good portion of the morning.
Which like, yeah, you've taken a sip of coffee and
Yeah.
like given it away to somebody.
Yep.
Inconspicuously because you could taste
Because
the
I could
dairy
take
in
it. It's almost immediately, I can like, especially if it's liquid or if it's runny in any way, I know, and I'm like, nope, sorry, can't have this. I will seriously be sick off this. There's other things though that are a little bit more tricky, like dips, like stuff that you dip fruit in, or like chips and stuff. Like
Any
it doesn't
sauce.
look, yeah, it doesn't look like it has dairy in it, and like, you know, if you don't think to ask, it kind of makes things like social gatherings or like baby showers, bridal showers, things like that, a little bit more awkward because you feel like you're burdening people to like have to think of your dietary needs.
Well, even like when we had one school year, we had our lunch next to our prep, and so we had an hour and a half break. And so on Fridays we used to go out to lunch, and we would always try and find a place that was gluten and dairy free.
Yeah.
Our coworkers are amazing, and they would always be okay with that. But like that's even a decision. Like if they don't have, and you know, there's gluten and dairy free stuff everywhere. But like if you're gonna spend money on food, it's like it should be food that you want to eat.
Like. Yeah, for sure.
That's not fair that you have to get a salad because that's the only gluten and dairy free option they have at a restaurant. Like, that's not fair to whoever has the intolerance.
Right. Well, and then it's also more expensive. So like we would go to Barrow's for lunch, and usually most people would do like the $3 slice of pizza or whatever it is and like a salad. So they're spending under $10 for like their whole meal with a drink. And I'm spending $14 for a slice or for like a thing of pizza that's like this big.
Yeah.
And so it's ironic that like I look like a pizza today. Oh my gosh. But yeah, so it's like it's not always like feasible to eat out when I want to eat out because it costs more money anytime you slap the word gluten-free, dairy-free on there.
Yeah.
And like obviously pizza isn't dairy-free, but something about that processed cheese I'm able to have on pizza doesn't upset me as much. Granted, I don't have a lot of it if I do have it, but again, it doesn't bother me as much. So it does affect everything as far as like social gatherings and like finances and things like that, and convenience. It's never convenient. I always have in my backpack, you can ask Abby this, always, there's a stack of RX bars. Yeah. Always on hand and there. And if not, I head to Sprouts and I just go pick up a couple more. Yeah. Because sometimes I'm in a situation where like I'm really hungry and whoever I'm with doesn't have something that would like meet my dietary needs. So having a quick little power bar is good to have in there for me so that I'm not like dying.
Yeah, I've noticed that like bringing lunch and like bringing snacks is the hardest place to be dairy free. Yeah. Because and like gluten free because like it's easy to pack a sandwich for lunch every day, but like we can't eat that every day. Right. So it is hard.
And the slices of bread for gluten-free bread, they're like this big. It's so small. It's as big as my eye socket. It's small. And like it has improved a lot. And again, but it's more expensive every time you buy it. So you don't always want to buy the things that have like fake carbs, if that makes sense, like fake bread.
It's processed.
It's all. So it affects everything. Is there anything else you feel like?
Yeah, I agree. I think it also, like when I was in high school, I had a food obsession because I like realized that I like needed to lose weight or whatever. You know, that was just at a point in my life, my body was changing. And I was consuming some dairy. And then I was like, it developed into a food obsession in high school. And so that wasn't necessarily something that was healthy for me. So I think sometimes like when you have an intolerance and you have like an obsessive behavior like I do, like I have a really controlling behavior, that it can turn into a food obsession or that can turn into an eating disorder, all from just trying to control your dairy intolerance.
Yeah, totally. So I remember when I was doing like the food journals, like the first couple like years in college or whatever, like I reached a point where I was like pre-packaging like chips and like putting them in there so I could get the calories that I needed that I was lacking from not getting gluten and dairy. Yeah. And like trying to figure out my carbs and like how I could run like and train for half marathons and stuff without having like those normal carbs in my diet. So it makes everything a little awkward and it's really hard not to be obsessive because you need to be mindful and cautious. But then there's the 7 in me like wants to abandon ship when I like start stressing about stuff like that because I'm like I can't handle like this type of a worry in my brain, so it's just easier to like not care as much about it, which that's not good either.
Right. And then I'm on the opposite spectrum, like as a 3 I have to achieve at everything, and so that's why it turned into such a food obsession. So that's kind of a negative impact, having an intolerance. So if somebody has an intolerance, be nice to them. Because there's a lot of impacts.
It's more areas than just one.
Yeah. Oh, also like making dinner for my husband. Like
oh my gosh.
He's not a fan of like quinoa and vegetables and chicken. Like he wants real food.
Right.
Not that the food I'm feeding him is real, you know, it's all,
Right,
it's, all it's processed food. But like now, 4.5 years into marriage, we don't eat the same thing for dinner. Because I was like tired of I was so tired from eating stuff that wasn't good for my body. And then B, having to like fight with him, not fight, but like, can we get gluten-free noodles this week? Or can we get dairy-free Alfredo sauce? Or can we get, you know, like those little decisions.
Yeah.
So at this point, which I'm totally fine with, I make his dinner and I have a salad every day for dinner because I enjoy that.
Yeah.
But like it took me 4.5 years to figure that out.
Yeah.
Because I've just given up on making us the same food for dinner.
Right.
So.
Well, it's interesting you say that though, like because you guys were two different people and stuff, like when you're figuring out all the allergy stuff, we're like, because I had mine like established before I met Avon, when we were in college, I lived in an apartment, he lived in a dorm. So I had a kitchen, everything, and I would make food. And the gluten-free noodles that I get from Walmart, they're super good. I'll post a link below, but they taste like normal noodles if like you use dairy-free butter and like salt and like some seasonings. Like it tastes really good. And so he doesn't care. Like he thinks that they taste really yummy, but we spend a small fortune on gluten-free noodles because he likes them a lot and he'll eat them with me. But then there's other times where we go out to eat where he's like, I love you, babe, but like, I'm gonna get my own thing. And like, you have to kind of figure out like what you wanna get tonight. So it makes things like that a little awkward and like, I don't even wanna say tension because I'm not like upset with him. I'm just upset that it causes like, almost like a fight about the money part of the allergy, if that makes sense. Well, same thing with my birthday. Like when I went out for my birthday, it was hard because they wanted to get me like gluten-free pancake to celebrate me at Snooze, but it had dairy in it. But because I audibly said like, it's a gluten and dairy intolerance or whatever, they were like, oh, well, it does have milk in it, so we can't like give it to you. But I was like, technically that's fine, it won't kill me, but they did put butter. Right. So I was like, probably best we don't do that. So then you feel like you miss out on like those parts of restaurants, like you don't get celebrated in public like that.
Because they always bring you something with gluten and dairy in it.
Yeah, like
which is delicious.
Yeah, even at the Crab Shack place, they were like, "Oh, we have like a little dessert that we can bring you," and I was like, "I'm allergic to gluten, so I can't." And he's like, "Oh, bummer." Yeah. So my dad got me like a little like bundt cake, a gluten-free bundt cake, and so I had that, and it was really yummy. So at home, so it makes things like that more intentional. Though I will say, hold on, that's the good part about like dairy and gluten stuff is when people around you who know you really well.
Oh my gosh, it's the greatest gift.
Yes, it's so true. Like they're like, when they intentionally like, hey, I made you gluten-free muffins, or I made you gluten-free this, or
like Amy made gluten and dairy-free cupcakes for her birthday.
Yeah,
which was
it was
so
awesome.
sweet.
It was so good. It was such a cute little dessert. Peach themed party. But yeah, so it's just like when people take the time out of their day to like be intentional with my food needs, it's really special and sincere. So
for sure,
it's great redemption.
Okay, what are food alternatives that you use? Now this is where we differ a lot. Like I don't use alternatives as much. Like at Angry Crab, we go there for my birthday and our anniversary, and I will always eat the dessert, like because it's like that's like a treat for me, and I don't usually like alternatives as much. Like I don't usually eat like gluten-free pasta, or like if I'm gonna eat cream cheese, I eat real cream cheese, or I don't know. Yeah, it just depends, and because I just try to like space it out. And if I'm at home, it's different. Or if we're going home, it's different. Like I can deal with it, but that's probably not the best to do. But I just don't like the idea of, because it's all so processed. That's like the hardest part that I have with it is that, like, I mean, every food is processed. Yeah. And it's more expensive, and just like it's just stupid.
It adds up.
So, like, since I'm not that severely intolerant, like, it just makes me uncomfortable, or if I have a lot of dairy, it really makes me sick, then I usually will just indulge and I'll eat it because it's not that bad. Yeah. But you have a totally different scenario, like the littlest bit will totally throw you off, so.
Yeah, and it's weird. Sometimes it, like, physically I cannot walk because it will hurt my stomach that badly. So I need to listen to my body and say, no, I cannot have that, even though I really desperately want that.
Right, yeah. The only things that I use alternatively is I use cashew milk in my coffee, And if I go somewhere, I'll get like non-dairy milk, but cashew milk is my favorite. And then, don't tell my husband, so hopefully he's not watching, but I've been buying dairy-free butter.
Woo!
So, he hasn't noticed.
He hasn't noticed?
No.
But which one is it, the brand?
I don't remember what it's called.
Okay, it was like, is it the Smart Butter?
It's in a black package.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
But yeah, so I've been buying dairy-free butter recently. But we use that to cook with stuff, so like it's not like we're tasting it.
Yeah, that's true.
But other than that, like, I don't know. I eat croutons. I love croutons.
Yeah.
And the gluten-free croutons are not the same.
Oh, no, don't even buy them,
So,
in my opinion.
Yeah, like I don't use gluten-free bread. If I'm gonna have a sandwich, I eat real bread. So, what do you use? Because you're more severe.
I have a lot of different alternatives that I like. So, but that's why my grocery shopping, when I take, Instagram every once in a while, I show why I go to so many different stores, because it does take a lot of shopping around to make sure that I have realistic meals for me and my husband. So I go to Walmart for all my lower end, like, I don't want to say lower end, I mean more like my cheaper gluten-free stuff.
Yeah, like your pantry food.
Yes, pantry food. So like it has the boxed noodles. There's like the ones that you just add beef, just like a hamburger helper or like a beef stroganoff like type meals. The beef stroganoff does come with like cheese in a package, but we don't put that in the mix. Like we don't use it at all actually, because it makes both like Ava and I sick from it. So we just use like the normal, like the seasoning that it comes with. We add our beef, add the noodles, boom, we're done. So that's really good. I like having those for like laying low meal nights or whatever. And then I like to get my gluten-free bread from Fry's, because they have like the really yummy bruschetta. I really like doing that when Avon makes like Spanish meals, like anything from Spain. So there's this dish that we like to make called pan con tomate, which is like bread and tomato. And it's like you rub like garlic on a piece of bruschetta and like a little bit of tomato, and it's really good with basil. So, and a little bit of olive oil. And anyway, it's really, really good dish, and I always feel left out when I can't have it. So it's really good to have the gluten-free bruschetta from Fry's. I get my gluten-free bagels from Trader Joe's, and those ones are really good because they come in the everything bagel or the plain.
I will say Trader Joe's has really good gluten-free bagels.
Yes, they're super good. Like I haven't found ones that are better, but I also haven't seen a lot of options like at a lot of other stores. So like Walmart doesn't have gluten-free bagels, and neither does Fry's. So it's like, again, having to know where you found something and write it down, because
and how much it costs.
Because you'll have to figure that out too. I get my dairy-free ice creams from Fry's too. They're the little So Delicious, they're like a little pint cup or whatever. Yeah. They're so yummy.
Those ones are the best.
They're my favorite.
The So Delicious brand is the best. I'm trying to think of the other one that's not very good. I can't remember. But yeah, just always go with So Delicious. Their dairy-free ice cream is really, really good.
Yeah, and it like actually tastes like ice cream.
Yeah.
I do have to be careful though with reading some of their stuff, because they have like the fancy ones, kind of like Ben and Jerry's, where there might be gluten there.
Because there might be gluten in it.
So I only try to do like the mint chocolate chip or the caramel one, because those ones both don't have.
And the coffee one.
And the coffee one's really, really good. Caramel and coffee is so bomb.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then for normal milk, like what I have with cereal is an unsweetened original almond milk. And I use the Almond Joy brand, or the almond...
Almond Joy.
What is it called? Is that what it said? Almond Joy?
Almond Joy is a candy bar.
Blue almond?
Yeah, the Blue Diamond.
Blue Diamond. Yeah, it was like something with blue. I don't know. But it's really good. I like it. I don't like it sweetened because it tastes too sweet with cereal or like with other things I'm baking with.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I like the unsweetened vanilla cashew milk because I just use it for coffee.
Yes.
So that's kind of a vanilla flavor.
Yes. Speaking of coffee, I have the best dairy-free creamer in the world.
Yeah.
So
if you like almond milk.
If you like almond milk.
Which I don't like almond
really
milk.
Good.
So that's why I use cashew milk and like my
Wait, the one that you had at my house the other day, you didn't like that one?
It's not my favorite.
Oh,
I don't like almond milk.
I like it because it's thick, it's thicker, and it's like
when they put it in a creamer form.
Yes.
Almond milk
so
is a little
good.
bit better.
Yeah, but not like because the creamer is so good. I'll drop all these links below, but it's just thicker, so it tastes like real coffee to me. So yeah.
Anything else?
I think that's it. If I think of more, like I'll drop it in the box. But yeah, I think there's a lot with food allergies. So, and it's very controversial, and like, the important thing is to remember, like, everyone's body reacts to things differently. So just like trying to be understanding, even if you lack the understanding, if that makes sense. Or trying to be kind about it.
Like my husband for a long time would like give me a hard time. Like, you eat dairy and gluten, like stop saying you have a dairy and gluten intolerance. Like, I do, and then afterwards it like sucks and I'm in pain.
Yeah.
So like, Bree's really great. She's so disciplined with it. Not all of us are like that. So if you see someone, like, don't give them a hard time, because it's hard to have a dairy and gluten intolerance, because if you want to enjoy what everybody else is enjoying, like chips and queso, I love chips and queso. That's one of my favorite foods of all time. And like the cashew queso, it just isn't the same. Like, there's just some things that you just want to be able to eat and you want to feel normal.
Yep.
So don't give people a hard time if they're eating something and they say that they have an intolerance, because that's me. And sometimes I eat it and sometimes I don't. It's just how I feel. If I'm okay with being sick for the rest of the day, then I eat it.
Yep.
So our last question is, any tips or tricks for pain alleviation? Drink so much water, because it'll get the bacteria and all of the stuff from the, well, that's mainly dairy, the bacteria from dairy and gluten, I guess, out of your body faster. So drink water and keep hydrated.
I like to use essential oils, so if you're into that, 2 or 3 that really help me when I'm having issues with like bloating or like a lot of pain in my tummy is I'll use Thieves, or I lied, not Thieves, I'm very sorry, Digize. Digize is really good for my tummy. I'll rub it there. You can put like a drop on your tongue and it will work immediately. I just honestly hate the taste and I don't like putting it on my tongue ever. But it does work faster. I've had to try it in the past, but I can't get over the taste. Peppermint is another one that helps, because when my body's going through like the pain of like processing foods I'm not supposed to have, I get very tense in my shoulders and my neck area and in my back. So it's good to have like a little bit of peppermint oil to kind of help alleviate that pain, and it feels really good on like those muscles that are like tensing up. And the last is Penne. It's really good for sore muscles as well. So I'll usually use that the day after I have something I'm not supposed to have, or like that night of, and I'll rub it on my lower back to kind of help with alleviate cramping. So that's what I use, and it helps a lot. I'm also drinking a lot of water, like Abby said, and just trying to be mindful of like identifying what it was, because if you don't know what, sometimes it takes a little bit for it to process through your body.
Now you know.
Yeah. Like Hamilton. Like sometimes I'll have like an allergic reaction to, or sometimes I'll react to food that I eat, but because I wasn't drinking a lot of water, I won't react till later, or like more toward the end of the day. And so it's harder to identify, so making sure that you stay hydrated so that you can identify it sooner.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
not to think if there's anything else. Deal with it.
I like to sleep it off.
Taking a nap helps.
Disney musicals help as well. It's always the best therapy.
Yeah, for sure. Especially when your husband's out of town, you can watch all the
Disney
movies.
You want.
Yeah, that's our 2 cents on food allergies / intolerances.
Thanks for joining us, and make sure to like and subscribe to this video, and that you go and follow us on our Instagram page at @dime_days. And until next time, we'll talk to you later.
We'll talk to you next time for more of our
2 cents.
2 cents. Stuff that you probably need anymore.
She's like, I'm over it.
Okay, let's do that again, because I interrupted you.
Oh, no, you're fine. I'm over it. I don't know what I'm saying. Okay, your turn.
Okay, we're really leaving now. Okay. Am I starting over?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's our 2 cents on food allergies. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to hear more of our 2 cents, and follow us over on our Instagram. Like Brie mentioned, she took you guys through a grocery haul a few weeks ago, so it's at @dime_days to see all of that.
Yay! Thanks so much, and tune in next time to hear more of our 2 cents.
Yes. Bye.